Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV. I get a lot of questions on this channel all the time, and sometimes I get the same questions over and over, and I've started kind of keeping track of questions that I get frequently, and I thought today, in no particular order, I would just bust out 10 random RV frequently asked questions that maybe could help somebody, and if you find this useful, maybe share this into some kind of, I don't know, Facebook camping group or something like that, and let's see if we can't maybe demystify a couple things for you today. First up, talking about RV storage. A lot of people ask, how big do I need to make a garage or a barn or something like that to store an RV? The short answer here is at least 14 feet of clearance. But the thing is, you don't want to make the door opening 14 feet. You want to make sure that it's the door. Usually the door hangs down below the door opening. You want to make sure the complete clearance is 14 feet. That's the part that gets a lot of people tripped up. They're like, well, I built a barn with a 14-foot door, but I only have 13.6 of clearance, and now I'm going to rip my air conditioner off. Make sure the door opens 14 feet. So you may actually have to make the opening 14.6 or whatever the case. Just talk with your contractor, whoever's going to build that for you. Next up is one that I've answered a few times, but I want to keep answering it so that we continue to help people not break their RVs. And people will say, my RV slides are going to be out quite a bit. Should I use those RV jack stands? My answer for that, basically, is absolutely not. Because the RV's slide exists relative to the body of the RV. And the reason that matters is if the body of the RV wiggles at all, but the jack stands are isolating that potential movement of the slide system, then you're creating a conflict between the slide and the RV that is not good. Eventually something could not go well. And where that could really be an issue is what if you're parked on soft ground, if the body of the RV settles at all, but that jack stand is not allowed to move the same amount of space as the body of the RV, you're gonna bang something up basically. So I just don't recommend using those things. So what if my RV's in storage long term, say over winter, like we're kind of looking at here behind us? Should I leave the jacks down or jacks up? I really recommend leaving the jacks up just because if they go down, and again, if the ground gets soft and settles, especially when you have freezes and thaws, those jacks can have a way of kind of sinking down into the dirt, and then if they refreeze and you have to move your RV for any reason, basically you're either chipping that thing out of frozen earth or you're gonna rip a jack stand off or something like that, and that absolutely sucks. And it gives critters like mice one more way to climb up and somehow potentially access that RV. Now, to be fair, if critters really want to get into a rig, they're pretty much gonna find a way to do it, but I don't want to leave them extra opportunities for it. But it is best to leave your jack stands up. And as a bonus tip, things like your tongue jack, if you're going to leave that thing parked where the ground does freeze, make sure you put just a simple block of wood or something under it so your tongue jack doesn't sink down into soft ground when everything starts melting. Ask me how I know. Another kind of debate that I see in Facebook groups all the time is people ask, should I level my RV first and then open the slides, or open the slides and then level the RV? And everyone has this different idea of how the weight's going to change and distribute and everything. I think I can pretty confidently pretty much put this one to rest for you. You should level the RV first and then open the slides. The reason being, your slides are supposed to operate when the RV is already level. So if the RV is already level, you don't want to open the slides because that puts extra stress and can cause problems, major potential catastrophic failures that you can avoid by having it level first. Or here's another one. Sometimes people ask, hey, I kind of heard that I could just add airbags to my half-ton pickup and it could suddenly be able to tow more or handle a fifth wheel that normally it wouldn't. Is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, no. Although there's a lot of people that want to make you think that, and they will happily take your money and they'll slap the airbags on your vehicle. Airbags have benefits. They provide suspension stability. They can provide better handling and control. They do not actually change any of the specs and capacities of your vehicle. They don't increase your towing. They don't increase your payload. They add extra stability and handling potential, but they do not make up for a lacking towing or payload capacity. So if your truck without airbags is not sufficient to handle an RV, with airbags, it's still equally not sufficient to handle that RV safely because you haven't changed the amount of stress and wear being applied to the drivetrain, the brakes, your axle. You're still wearing those things out and using them in a way they were not intended for. And if you have some kind of major failure, like let's say like we're looking at a Ford behind us here, you put airbags on this and it's still under warranty and you wear out your drivetrain, that's on you. They are not going to pay to fix that. So roll those dice if you want to, but I would not do it myself. And keep in mind, little things like that, like telling you not to buy the jack stands or thing, don't try to use your half ton to over tow if you just add airbags. We could probably make a lot more money by selling you those things or selling you that RV that is overloaded for your vehicle, but we're putting the information out there to not put you in that bad or dangerous situation. So if you appreciate that, how we're just trying to keep you safe, to keep you out of the shop, and to help you avoid wasting money unnecessarily, hit the little subscribe button or whatever. Smash the things on YouTube. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to ask you to do. Another one that I still see all the time, even though I've answered it on different videos, is can I just leave my tank valves open all the time? You really don't want to do that, especially in the case of your black tank stuff, because what happens is the liquid stuff rolls off and the solid mass builds up into what is known as the dreaded pyramid. And talk to anyone who's had to take the little master blaster wand and break all that fun nonsense up. That is not how you want to spend your RV vacation. So in the case of your black tanks, absolutely leave those suckers closed. Now your gray tank, like your kitchens and stuff like that, still, technically, you shouldn't leave them open all the time, but it's way less likely to become a big congealed mess inside of there. What I do recommend doing, though, is leave them both closed, and then when it is time to empty your black tank, do your normal black tank emptying routine, and then pull your gray water, because if you think about it, even though it's dirty water, it's basically soapy water for the most part, whether it's coming out of the shower or the kitchen or something like that. So you are helping flush and kind of clean your sewer line before you do a full rinse and blast. So best practice is always to keep them closed. Another really common question I see in things like Facebook groups all the times is, can I hang stuff on my RV's walls? Or how can I hang stuff on my RV's walls? And actually, the answer kind of depends on the build and the construction of your RV, because it's what's under the skin here that really matters. And interestingly, that's actually one of the benefits of a stick and tin camper, typically over a laminated RV, is that there's more things in the wall that you can actually screw into and mount something into. Here's what I mean. In a stick and tin camper, typically roughly every 16 inches on center, roughly the same as residential household spec, there's a wooden stud in the wall that you could screw something into that could hold something of decent weight, like say if you wanted to mount a TV or something like that. Now, it's pretty simple. What you want to do is get yourself a little stud finder. Now, we all know how to calibrate this. First, what you do is you hold it up to your chest, fellas. You go, yup, there's one. And now it's calibrated. Now it'll go beep, 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 and find what you need on the walls. But the thing is, laminated walls, fiberglass skins with aluminum framing that's all like glued and pinched together, those don't have studs in the walls the same way that a stick and tin camper does. By contrast, if you think about something like a laminated wall, like there's aluminum framework and perimeters in here, but the vertical aluminum studs in the walls, they could be as much as 4 feet apart in some cases, because when you laminate, it's not necessarily the studs that are providing the structural integrity of the wall, it's the entire lamination process, because stress applied to any point in the wall is dispersed across essentially the entire span of the wall. So they don't need studs every 16 inches on center like a wood studded wall. So if you try to screw something into this, you're screwing into just a tiny bit of Luan or maybe even Asdel, which is a like basically a plastic composite substitute for wood paneling, and then you're screwing into block foam. There's nothing for a screw to bite into, and Asdel actually has worse screw retention even as compared to this Luan right here. So in the case of a laminated wall RV, if you want to mount anything heavy that a command strip or something like that couldn't handle, you really shouldn't do it, because the manufacturers only build extra lag supports for screws and stuff like to hold your cabinetry where the cabinets are going to be located. Nowhere else. That's why sometimes you'll say, well, could I add an extra awning to this laminated wall RV on the outside, like on the face of a slide? And the answer is you can't, because there's no structure in that wall that a screw can bite into and hold, because if you try to screw into that, you're just going to shear out the block foam and the wood. So stick and tin campers, one of the benefits of those is that you can hang bigger things on the walls if you want to. Laminated wall RVs, you don't want to do anything real invasive like that. Here's another one. People ask, hey, can I get an RV customized for me? And basically the answer, as it turns out, is no. Manufacturers, they might have specific options, like sometimes they might offer a different sofa, but we can't change fixtures typically. So like an instance like this, I've got a smaller shower behind me and I've got a giant like linen cabinet beside it. And some people say, well, you know, I'm a person who likes a larger shower and I don't need as much like towel storage. Can I get them to build me one with a bigger shower and no linen cabinet? And the answer is no. Basically, RV floor plans are like a cookie cutter. It's not like a house where, like, if you were going to build this as a house, as a one-off, the guy building a house could be like, yeah, as long as you can pick a different, you know, shower surround that fits or whatever, we can build the cabinet a little bit smaller. RVs can't do that. Everything is preset into the same sizes. So, like, if it's something that could be changed with a screwdriver, like if you want a different, if you're like, I don't want the pleated draw shades with the stupid strings, I want the roller shades, a screwdriver can fix those with a trip to Home Depot. But if you want a wall moved or a cabinet changed, you're in the wrong RV. I don't like that answer, but that's the real of it. There's another question I get all the time that actually really surprises me. Basically, it goes something along the lines of, hey Josh, I'm a single woman. Could I do this RV thing by myself? Absolutely. Yeah. Last time I checked, being able, you know, like learning how to tow and the order of operations of setting things up, as far as I'm concerned, it had a lot more to do with what's between your ears versus what's between your legs, if that makes any sort of sense. So, did you know that it's like 90% of solo RVers are ladies? So, yeah, nothing like when you get into this industry, everything's about bunkhouse family camping or couples camping. There's not a lot of talk about solo RVing, but that's a very real thing. And you know, both men and women do solo camp, but the vast majority of those are ladies. So yeah, absolutely, you can do the hitching, you can do the towing, you can do all that stuff. Like, I'm surprised anyone would tell you otherwise. And without fail, literally every single day, I have at least one person asking a question about how much can I tow, or can I tow this RV with XYZ vehicle. I have an entire video on that topic here, where basically it's helping to teach you how to fish so that you can actually know the real ins and outs of towing and make sure that you don't get into a situation which you're overloaded. Did you know that over 50% of registered RV owners of towable RVs, the GVW of their RV exceeds their maximum tow rating? In English, what that means is that over 50% of people are towing more weight than their vehicle is rated for. So that's why I want to make sure people really understand this one. But there are some quick barometers I could give you if you don't want to go over and check out that extra video right there, which I really recommend you do if you're not sure about this stuff. But someone might say, hey, my vehicle can tow 3,500 pounds. I checked. How heavy can an RV be that I can tow safely? Well, according to what the government says is safe, 3,500 pounds. Do you want to necessarily do that? It depends on what you're going to do and where you're going to go with it. I wished I never called it an 80% rule in a previous video. I believe it's best described as an 80% guideline, because there's some fluidity to it. So like, if your vehicle can tow, 3,500 pounds, find 80% of that and make sure the maximum weight of your trailer is going to stay at that 80% or lower mark, because that's where you'll typically find more comfort. Safety and comfort are not always the same thing. Safety is math. Comfort is subjective. What you find comfortable, the next person might not. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to be flatland towing around Michiana, that 80% guideline probably makes sense. If you're going to start doing mountain towing, if you're going to tow through very heavy wind zones, you're going to want to make that 80% maybe a 70 or 65 or 60% guideline to make sure that you have enough motor or control or whatever to comfortably and safely handle that trailer. So it's more than just what are the numbers and the mistakes so many people make. And because a lot of dealerships have trained their salespeople to approach people this way, is they say, what's your vehicle's maximum? Well, here's the trailer's dry weight minimum. They want to compare maximum to minimum. You want maximum to maximum on trailer and vehicle to make sure you're going to keep yourself within the safe guidelines. That's a major thing. We could sell a bunch more RVs if we didn't approach it that way, because again, the goal of this video is not just to sell another camper, it's to help you be more educated on how to go shopping for the next one and how to avoid keeping this thing out of the shop. So thanks again for tuning in. I know this is kind of random. It kind of jumped a little bit over here, there, and everywhere. But I get all kinds of questions, and I'm like, I just got to start putting some of these answers out there, even if they're not necessarily all interconnected, and just to try to help make our community stronger. So if you like this video today, leave me a little note, let me know, and if you have other questions, maybe I can combine a few more of those and make another like 10 FAQs the next time around or something like that. And if you appreciate how our goal here, again, is to just provide benefit and value to our camping community and not necessarily just to sell the next camper, hit that subscribe button, let us know how we're doing, and we'll see you the next time around. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.